Hello everybody, April 22nd, 2020. Happy Earth Day, the 50th anniversary and the 51st Earth Day celebrated. And I just thought I'd make, a random video. And I try to make as few of these as possible. I always like to, have a lot of purpose in every video than just me telling stories and talking about my life. I try to just have more videos, like maybe math tutorials, science lessons, or piano music to bless others, photography, videography, Autism Awareness, where I share my, my take on autism and Asperger's, and maybe, a lot of encouragement and such. But since, we're in this pandemic and, we all have to stay strong and everything, yeah, it is hard not going outside or seeing people face to face as often, but I like to try to be as optimistic as I can, and I hope that everybody watching is as optimistic as you could be. So in this random video, I was transcribing my journals. I've been doing that every single day on the 10th and later both the 10th and the 11th anniversary for the past year and 1 day. Right now I'm in 2010 journal, and I saw one entry from today 10 years ago. I'm not going to read the journal entry. I've transcribed it, which I've been doing for just a little over a year now, and I tweeted it out on Twitter, so I'll leave a link in the description below. 10 years ago, around this exact time in the evening right now, I was playing this fun game called Knight Rider at my youth group at St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church that used to meet every Thursday night, and this was one of the most fun activities, fun, adventurous games that I have ever played in my entire life. The first time was Thursday, October 15th, 2009, and then the third time and the last time was in sophomore year, and it just wasn't the same, and they never done it after that. But this game really made me feel belonging, made me feel like I'm getting out there. It surrounded me with a few friends, helped me make or spend time with friends and such, which is, socially that's hard for people like me. But anyway, I just decided to, put all myself and spirit into this. And on this particular night, first, this is how you play Knight Rider. You're in groups of like 4 or 5, and you go out into the neighborhood at night, and you go, in this case, from our church to a designated area. The first time it was at a park. It wasn't like close, but it wasn't far either. We were just basically going to this landmark, and we were dodging the leaders who were on their bikes, and they had flashlights, and we could see them from a distance, and if they saw us, then we had to get marked by a Sharpie on our hand, and if we would have to go all the way back, and that would be like a strike. We had to go back to the church and get vindicated, I guess, get like another mark over the strike, and we had to start all over. The first team back wins, I guess. And I was always very competitive myself, and so I remember I had, I believe, 2 other partners this time, and they were both upperclassmen. I was a freshman at the time, a decade ago, and one of them was a really, really good friend, and when we started, I kept on noticing all the bicyclists because I was I was making sure that we wouldn't get any strikes, and we would always hide like behind the bushes or the trees or whatnot, and bend down low and everything. If the bicyclists pass you and then you come out and they see you, they can't come back. It's not retroactive. They can't come back and tag you. And how the leader said, you book it at that point, and everybody started laughing. Well, anyway, at one point, toward relatively at the beginning, there was one of my partners kept on running, and I remember seeing him all the way in the night distance, only illuminated by the street lights, just running and running. And that was the last I saw of him for at least a couple of weeks. No joke. I was actually a little worried. And the last image that I saw was him at a distance. He kept on running, so now it was just my other partner and I. It was just the two of us. We make it to the landmark, which was, oh gosh, where was Santa Ana Avenue, I believe. There used to be this center circle, grass like in the middle of the road, and that's where that was our checkpoint. Then we had to go all the way back. We did that. Long story short, we were on our way back, and at one point I thought there was another bicyclist. There probably was, and then my other partner disappeared. I was on my own in the streets of Newport Beach at night, and thank God I sort of knew the area, but especially 10 years ago, it was just a little disorienting, but that I couldn't stop getting that out of my mind, that phrase, I'm on my own. In fact, there's a story behind that, but I'm not going to say for the sake of brevity. I'm trying to keep this brief. I kind of braved the night all the way back to the church on my own at nighttime, and yeah, it was just back and safe. I think I went out for a little bit for some reason, came back. By the time I came back, everybody all returned. They were sitting down and they were telling their stories. There's one story that one team had where there's like a driver that that almost hit them, and he rolled down the window and he was in his boxer shorts or whatnot, and everybody started laughing at that point. I don't know, maybe it was probably strange to see groups of high schoolers in the middle of the night running around the neighborhood, dodging bicyclists, and hiding in people's front yards. No, not like invading in their front yards or whatnot, just on the outside and such. Other than that, it was one of the most fun games ever invented, in my opinion. It really gave me that spirit of adventure that I spoke about in my book. Again, and I also said this in my book, when I talk about longing for adventure, like wishing that I had more adventure in my youth, like especially middle school, elementary school. I'm not talking about treasure hunting adventures, or what the children's movies where they're running away from the police or the authorities, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stuff, well, like Knight Rider, for example, and other stuff like that. Kind of makes me feel alive, like I'm actually living, instead of being lonesome or to myself, or just stuck at home doing homework or projects without anybody around and everything. Well, anyway, so that was my night 10 years ago. I guess to conclude, just a little update. I'm going to update you. Something is happening with my book. It's kind of a bit of a sad story in the beginning, but it's a very victorious and better story at the end, so please stay tuned with that. It's still in the works right now, what's happening, but I cannot wait to share it with you. So have a nice night, or if you're watching this in the day, have a good day, have a good week, and stay strong and be blessed.